Welcome to episode 1 of Healer Only Run, where we're trying to beat the whole game with only healers by dragging my friends and viewers into the mods of this challenge. We're going through each instance with minimum item level and no echo, making the challenge a lot tougher and more enjoyable to do and watch. Today we're mainly talking about the most problematic encounter in the MSQ of A Realm Reborn, if not the entirety of A Realm Reborn. Of course, we're talking about the final trial of ARR Ultima Weapon. Before we talk about this, let me give you some context to how the start of the challenge goes. We're doing mainly instance content and nothing else. So dungeons, trials, and raids, and hopefully I can wrangle enough people for an alliance raid. The reason I'm not even mentioning the previous dungeons and trials is cause there were nothing interesting, no scary tank busters, no crazy struggles with any boss as it was to be expected with any early dungeons from A Realm Reborn. We also only did the MSQ dungeons of ARR and not the optional dungeons yet, so we don't know yet how difficult those are. I'll also be honest, it's cause I also don't have the footage of us running through the ARR dungeons as healers as I forgot to archive it. But anyways, we're talking about Ultima Weapon, a fight that is an absolute slugfest to get through. The whole fight taking 30 minutes to get done and having mechanics that if you aren't ready for, aka the sneaky tank busters, you would die. The first fight of A Realm Reborn that had a mechanic that you couldn't survive even at full HP. No other tank buster would actually kill you at this point, but this one, even with hefty mitigation, you would survive. But first things first, our party composition at first was Astrologian, White Mage, Scholar, and Sage. We had each healer up and available for this as we didn't really know what to expect. We brought a little bit of everything. Me being the one playing Astro for every attempt for the sole reason that Astro at level 50 is the only class that has raid buffs together with the damage buffs from the cards. But the cards ended up playing a major role later on that we'll tell you about as we go through the fight. At the start of the fight with this first party composition, things went very smoothly. Even though Ultima Weapon would deal around 500 to 600 damage per auto attack, we didn't have much to worry about, as having a Scholar with a Fairy providing consistent passive heals and Sage's card on top of the person with the current aggro, the auto attacks didn't bother us at all. Ultima starts with a few autos before changing into Titan form. During Titan form, we were bouncing between aggro at all times, which by the way you can tell is by seeing these little bars under the player's class to see how close they are to being main in aggro, and the numbers displaying who is the closest to aggro. Shiva taking the aggro and not too long after, me taking over. Our aggro was close at all times, causing some inconsistency between who gets the mitigation or the cardia from Sage. Titan form dealing a lot of damage with its raid rights and proximity AoEs, but every other mechanic being very easy to dodge, but I'm sure if we got hit by one of those, it would have been enough to kill one of us, no problem. Once the whole Titan form is done, we switch into Garuda with another raid right that hits pretty hard as well. But Garuda is by far the easiest, Garuda making the whole arena into a big pulsating donut AoE that you are only safe in the center of the arena. If you go into the purple, you'll be knocked around and get damaged. In this state, Garuda will keep jumping from side to side, creating these massive AoEs, making the donut have a small safe spot, but because I was playing Astro and Astro has light speed incredibly early, my movement was never hindered by this. Once we get through Garuda, Ifrit is next with another powerful raid wide, which right after, Ifrit will summon Fire Pillars into a knockback. The knockback itself not dealing a whole lot of damage, most of us using Shortcast to cancel the knockback and allowing us to continue damaging the boss with no interruption. Sadly, Ifrit does do the knockback multiple times and Shurcast is a 2-minute cooldown, so we can only cancel it every 2 minutes. Once Ifrit is defeated, we enter the final bit of the first phase, where Ultima will only auto attack until it reaches 20%, making it transition into the second phase. Speaking of which, the real problem of this fight is the second phase, and well, this right here is being one of the biggest issues. Oh, that is unfortunate. I do not have a swift cast ready. This is the first fight where a tank buster is unsurvivable if you don't have a proper mitigation, needing us to save specific resources to protect who is in aggro. With poor management of resources, that will mean that who is in aggro will die, and it would take a weakness debuff that would last for a good while, making them deal 25% less damage for the whole duration. And the reason I'm mentioning this is for something very important that I'm sure you know what I'm hinting at. At the moment, this was our first attempt, and all things considered, we were doing really really well. The reason why you see us so close to the boss at all times is because we're taking advantage of the melee auto attacks from the healers. As a level 50, healers deal pretty good melee auto attacks, so if we wanted to clear this, we had to use that to our advantage. Let me run you by the fight first. Ultima starts the fight with a tank buster, and the thing is that this is technically a new fight, which means our aggro is reset, which also means that at the start we're gonna be fighting consistently for who takes the aggro, making Ultima switch aggro all the time, playing roulette with a tank buster, as the tank buster being quite random on who it would land on. If it landed on Calum or Hana here, they would die even with heavy mitigation, and me and Shiva being able to survive. The reason being mainly gear difference, so we couldn't allow them to get the tank buster by accident. After the first tank buster, Ultima will shoot some line AoEs that will explode after a little bit, not dealing a lot of damage and being pretty easy to dodge, though hitting us with a spread marker right after the ground beams, which they don't hit very hard. We see the first tank purge of Manny, which deals a lot of damage, so this would kill us if we didn't max out our HP and didn't properly mitigate the spread markers with some shields. Ultima will teleport into the center of the arena after a tank purge, charging up Etheric Boom, which is a mechanic, by the way, that gets used only once for the whole fight. And what it does is that will knock you back into the edges of the arena and spawn some orbs, which they need to be popped by running into them or being on top of them. 4 orbs spawning tethered, and once they touch each other, a massive raid wild will happen, which will certainly kill you. But you only need to explode 1 orb from each cardinal for the other tethered orb to disappear. Right after Ethereal Boom, Ultima will do a stack marker right into a Citadel Buster, a line away that deals moderate damage if you get caught by it. From now on, Ultima will summon these little drones that will shoot a line AoEs in 3 different patterns, together with either stack markers or spread markers, not being too difficult nor dealing too much damage, but the combination being of all those together making it a bit tricky at times if we get distracted. Ultima will also do these 4 proximity AoEs from now on that deal moderate damage. The way you resolve this is by being in the middle of the arena, which quite sneakily, Ultima is already expecting us to do that, preparing a Citadel Buster right after the proximity AoEs go off. From now onwards, Ultima will do repeating mechanics, with the exception that the drones will now do a 3rd pattern where they make a cross-line AoEs, which makes only the corners of the arena safe, but spawning proximity AoEs on those safe spots. So once the beams go off, you have to run right into the center of the arena to try your best to reduce the most damage possible, which can be tricky if you greed 1 or 2 casts. While the fight plays in the background, the reason behind our composition is that Astra has ray buffs to help others together with the cards, but the weakest melee autos, while Mage having great DPS together with Presence of Mind that is only available every 2 minutes, Sage having the hardest hitting single target attack with Phlegma, and Scholar having energy drains together with the strongest melee autos in level 50 compared to the other healers. In this attempt, we're learning how to best optimize the fight, using foods, potions for more damage, and keeping melee uptime at all costs, while I was providing damage cards to everybody. One thing to keep in mind about Astra in specific is that the melee damage card, aka the balance, will increase the damage to melee classes, but the thing is that it will still increase the damage to ranged classes, though instead of being 6% damage increase, it's a 3% damage increase. So it's always worth using, especially under raid buffs, for that little extra oomph to get that raid buff window. The 2 biggest cards that will probably be incredibly valuable for most of the early content is the Bow, which decreases incoming damage for 10%, and the Spire that creates a shield on the allied target, a shield that easily stacks with Scholar or Sage's shield, making those cards a necessity to survive Ultima's tank buster, making Astro the best healer to bring for this occasion. With all that explanation out of the way, we reach the tail end of the fight, and we end up learning that Ultima Weapon starts casting Ultima at 30% HP, which is the sole reason why this fight is so difficult. This is what we call an enrage, a mechanic that once reached, it will kill everybody no matter what. Even a maxed out class cannot survive Ultima's weapons enrage. This is where we get the damage buff from Heidelin, and we are supposed to use a LB3 from the DPS, but as we're all healers, we could only use the damage buff from Heidelin and nothing else. For our first attempt with this party setup, we get to 4% HP, which is really good for a party that is yet learning about the whole fight. And if you're wondering why I started running to the edge of the arena, it's because, believe it or not, most enrages and in general raid wides deal damage as a wave, dealing damage to the closest targets to the boss and then making its way to every other player. And Ultima's weapon enrage is no different. The speed to which the enrage wave comes out is so fast that you only maybe end up saving half a second for it, but in this fight you'll see that sometimes half a second is all you need. On our second attempt with the same setup, after knowing we got to 4% 30%, we needed to figure out a way to make sure we could buy some extra time or deal some extra damage. And the way I did it, it's by getting Ultima the closest as possible to 30% HP. In this case, getting it to 31%, telling my friends to hold fire so we don't phase Ultima by accident. Because Ultima at this point in the fight is just repeating mechanics, we can wait for the perfect mechanic to bait for extra time. In this case, using Tank Purge to phase Ultima, as it is a very long cast, potentially getting us those extra seconds we need to beat Enrage. Which is convenient, as if we have a single death, we can wait out the weakness debuff while Ultima keeps switching from attacks and manipulating the boss to the best of our ability to do what we need and recover just in case we mess up. And with just the second attempt, we managed to get the boss to 1.7% HP, showing the massive difference of baiting the boss to do an attack and gaining those extra seconds. We try again to no avail, leaving us with no time to try again. So we have to leave the instance, making us do the first phase again if we want to attempt Ultima again. For second instance, with Ultima Weapon, we change Hana from Scholar into Sage, hoping that the extra Phlegmas would be enough extra damage, and knowing that Sage has the highest potency at this level range, hoping that would be enough to get past the Enrage. That was worse than before, damn. 2.9. Our first attempt with the Enrage, we got to 2.5%. Pretty close, but yet not close enough. Here we start debating if the Tank Purge is our best cast to phase Ultima into Enrage. Question. Can we bait Ultima to do a longer attack than Tank Purge? Maybe the stack marker? Ultima summons a bunch of like little droids, and then they'll do a tank like a stack marker and will that give us enough time to get it? We made a rule that once reached to 40% HP, we would hold our burst, so when we phase Ultima into Enrage, we would have it ready. So once 40% is reached, we slugged into the Enrage. Ultima starts casting Ultima at 30%. We will save our burst on 40%. 40% don't use anything. Anything that could be your burst. No Phlegmas, no Presence of Mind, no Divination. The attack we decided to bait would be the Citadel Buster, the line AoE that Ultima does from time to time, but its variant where Ultima summons the drones, forcing Ultima to do the drone mechanic and not allowing it to phase immediately. While doing all that, we bring Ultima to the edges of the arena, forcing Ultima to teleport to the center, buying us even more time. We're using everything to buy as much time as possible and praying to arent Jesus to give us those crits that we so desperately need. Around here, we decide to join a voice call, as before everybody was hearing me from my stream. I'm live every weekends, by the way, on YouTube and on Twitch, 6 p.m. GMT +1, just letting you know. But with that shameless plug out of the way, us being in call allowed everybody to hear my callouts on the spot instead of being delayed, which I'm thinking it helped in the long run. Citadel Buster, go! Oh, he's doing Tank Buster! Did you fucking kill me? Thank you. And Tank Purge! Oh my god, this is it. This is it. Everybody, gank up on him! Melee him! Do everything! We get the attack we want and a Tank Buster right after, feeling hopeful on this run. But in the end, we only got it to 2.2% HP. Starting to slowly wonder how did we manage to get the boss to 1.7 HP before. After that attempt, we decide to switch classes, making Hana into a White Mage instead of a Sage, as I noticed that Shiva keeps being top damage on the burst windows. That's when I wondered if Presence of Mind is a lot stronger than I previously thought. So our party composition was now 1 Astro, 1 Sage, and 2 White Mages. With that decided, we try Ultima again. During phase 1, already seeing a massive difference in damage with 2 White Mages in the party, making us feel hopeful for this run, but you know how it was the last time I felt hopeful about last attempt. We get ourselves to the Enrage once again after such a long fight to only see this. Oh!
0.9.
Yeah. Okay, that is the right idea. Okay, that's the right idea. I have another plan.
Yeah, I think I used my what was it called?
We beat our personal best from 1.7% to 0.9%, showing us that this is absolutely possible and that we made the right choice having 2 white mages in this party. With renewed fervor, we go again. Okay, I have another idea. When we get our LB3, because that's when Heidelin gives us like damage boost, that's when we burst. Maybe that'll be a better time to burst instead of doing before. With a new plan holding our burst from 40% to when Heidelin giving us the most damaging boost. As before, we would use the burst right when Ultima phased into the enrage, thinking that would be the best time to burst. With everybody in the same page regarding the plan, we go again, telling everybody to hold fire and letting me manage the HP of the boss by myself makes it easier to get Ultima closer to 30%. Okay, stop attacking. Just focus on keeping me alive. Thankfully, Astra is the class with the least amount of potency on its basic attack, so it's easier for me to manage the boss. If I can get to 30.4 or something, that would be nice. Okay. Okay, we're gonna wait until we get the Citadel Buster and then get ready to just use all the burst. In this case, 30.3% HP. Now we wait for the next Citadel Buster from Ultima. Go, 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 go! You saw the problem, right? Even though I said to everybody to hold their burst spells, my very smart brain still decided to use it to phase Ultima because of the habit we built after attempting Ultima for 3 hours now. But maybe this will be enough to kill Ultima. Oh my god! 0.7! Oh my god. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. Nope. 0.7% HP left. So close, yet so far. Maybe if I let my divination on the Heidelin damage boost, maybe we would have cleared, right, Sora? Maybe we would have cleared. But I digress. With each attempt, we grow closer and closer to killing Ultima. So again, we go, and this time I try to hold divination for that burst window. This time, Shiva was the one that used their burst at 30% HP, as we're all used to using it around that time. But maybe with the burst of everybody else, we'll deal enough damage to clear it. And this time... Wait, go, 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 go!
Oh my god.
I already
Kill him!
Oh, come on!
Oh my god! Oh my, we have to reset the instance. We cannot do another one. Oh my god. Oh, that was so good. Okay, that's the plan. That's it. That's it, peeps. Okay. We reach 0.3% HP. Freaking 0.3%. Our hearts are racing. Blood is pumping. We're so close to finally killing Ultima. Seeing how close we were, we refused to stop attempting Ultima until we killed it now. We jump right into the next attempt. We reach the point once again where you're baiting the Citadel Buster to face Ultima, and the perfect thing happens. I'll try to get Ultima to the lowest amount of HP possible before he transitions. Get ready to defend Shiva. Imposter incoming. Oh, I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the one main tanking. I'm the one main tanking. Defend me. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. We're waiting for a Citadel Buster. This was incredibly lucky to not accidentally phase Ultima. Will 30.1% be enough to get us through, knowing how close we were last time? Use your burst. Go all out. Do not let your dots fall off. Do not let your dots fall off. Pay attention. Yes!
We did it!
We did it! Oh my god!
That was so close!
That was so close! Oh my god! And just like that, we freaking killed Ultima Weapon. It was so close that if that last GCD didn't kill Ultima Weapon, we would have died immediately. And this concludes episode 1. The hardest fight of this challenge so far in A Realm Reborn, taking me around 3 to 4 hours to complete. I must thank Shiva, Hana, and Kalem for joining this tournament with me and clearing A Realm Reborn with me. Next up is post A Realm Reborn and its optional dungeons. I wonder how Chrysalis will go, but that will be for the next one. If you want to be part of the attempts by either playing with me or watching, join me on Twitch or YouTube Live as I do this pretty often. But for now, thank you so much for watching the video till now, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.